Hi, welcome to the show. My name is Patrick Lee from Slush Films, and today we'll be talking about switching over from Final Cut Pro 7 to Premiere Pro CS5.5. Let's get started. Now before we get started to the show, click that thumbs up button and add this to your favorites. That'll help me a lot, thanks. Oh, by the way, if you want to see a video of me reviewing Final Cut Pro 10, then click right here, and also in that video I talk about comparing it to Avid and Premiere Pro. Now when switching over from Final Cut Pro 7 to Premiere Pro CS5.5, you can immediately notice some differences. When opening Premiere Pro CS5.5, you can see that the interface is a bit different. The color of the background is more blackish gray than the white in the previous Final Cut Pro 7. Also, Premiere Pro seems to be a bit more cleaner and soothing to the eye rather than Final Cut, which looks a little bit like Windows XP. Another thing that's different between the two programs is that Final Cut Pro is separated by different windows that are movable. However, Premiere Pro is separated by windows that are attached in one window, which makes it a lot easier for the user in their workflow. You can also resize the windows in both Premiere and Final Cut. Also, you can notice the tools in Premiere Pro are a bit different than ones in Final Cut Pro. Now enough with the physical differences, let's get into some tips and tricks that will help you get moving in Premiere Pro fast. First of all, one thing that's different in Premiere Pro that I found really useful in Final Cut Pro 7 is that there's no option for changing the length of a video track. Instead, there's an option for closing and opening video tracks or audio tracks in Premiere Pro. I find this rather clunky and annoying to get used to, but you have to get over it. Also, another thing that you'll notice is that when you're scrolling inside the timeline inside Premiere Pro, the scrolling is horizontal rather than vertical like in Final Cut Pro 7. At first, I found no way to fix this rather than just going to the scroll bar on the right and pressing it manually, but then I researched online and I found out that you can hover your mouse on the vertical scroll bar on the right and just scroll. That'll be faster than clicking and dragging. But unfortunately that's the only way to do it. One last tip I can give you from switching over from Final Cut Pro 7 to Premiere Pro CS5.5 is that when you're dragging an audio file to the project window and bringing that audio file to your timeline from the project window, sometimes the audio file locks in a certain track of the audio tracks and you find yourself wondering why this is. When I was first learning Premiere, I struggled with this problem and I couldn't move my audio in different tracks. So I researched online and I found out how to fix this. Usually when an audio file locks into a certain track in Premiere of the timeline, it is usually a mono audio file. Now what is a mono audio file? Well, a mono audio file is an audio file that only has one channel. So instead of a stereo audio file which has two channels, left and right, mono tracks only have one. And so it only plays in the right or the left. So that's why it locks into a certain track, because Premiere, it's not as flexible as Final Cut, and so there are certain tracks for certain different kinds of audio like mono, stereo, and 5.1 surround sound. Now to fix this problem, first start by deleting the audio track that you have locked in your timeline. Once you do this, go to your project window and right click on the file that you want to fix. Now after right clicking on it, go down to Modify and Audio Channels. A pop-up window will come up and you can convert the mono file into a stereo file right inside of Premiere Pro. Once you configure everything to your likings, then just click the OK button and then it will start transcoding it into a stereo file or whatever file you want it to be. And once you're done with that, it will be converted and you can just drag it in your timeline and you can move it from different audio tracks and it works perfectly. Now one more thing to mention is that Final Cut Studio 3 and Production Premium, which is the studio that Premiere Pro is in, are both kind of relatively similar because of the fact that Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro 7 really integrate well with the other apps in their studios. So for example, Premiere Pro would integrate well with After Effects, Photoshop, Adobe Audition, Adobe Story, Adobe Encore, and many other apps in the studio. And Final Cut Pro 7 integrates well with apps like Soundtrack Pro, color, compressor, and the apps in that studio. And after the release of Final Cut Pro 10 by Apple, the Final Cut suite is no longer any match to Premiere Pro, as Premiere Pro, the production premium, is far superior to the one of Apple. Now before you leave, click that thumbs up button and add this video to your favorites. If you have any questions or just suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and also click that subscribe button if you want to watch more of my videos. It really helps me out to get this YouTube thing going on. And this is just a quick video on some tips and tricks and advice on switching over from Final Cut Pro 7 to Premiere Pro CS5.5. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next video.